Hello and welcome to episode 304 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. Howdy do. I'm Mark. How's it going? Hope you had a good week. Today, this morning, whenever it is, wherever it is you are, we are covering today the very, very final concert by The Firm. Now, for some, this may be a cause for celebration. You all know that I have not been the biggest proponent of The Firm, although over the time I've been doing this podcast, the 7 years I've been doing this podcast, I have come around a lot, and I realized I fine-tuned it more, and I don't care for the 1985 tour, the sound, that much. In fact, my friend Dario Romero, he of the Great Remasters, they of the Great Remasters, apologies, just remastered a 1985 show of The Firm at Wembley Coliseum, Wembley Arena, whatever it is. And beautiful multi-track mixed down to stereo, remastered by Dario. He didn't have the multis, obviously. And sounds great, good performance, but I just can't get into it because I don't like the sound of it. It's just something missing. And what I realized in contrast is Paul Rodgers, at least at this show, really seems low energy and not happy, and he gripes at the audience once or twice about not being excited. And it's just, man, I've heard free concerts. In fact, I have a free concert in the pot that I'm going to put out as a bonus this week, foreshadowing, from 1970, and the boy wails. I've heard him with Bad Company. The boy wails. I've heard him after The Firm. The boy wails. And on the Mean Business Tour, on this tour, 1986, the boy wails. I think the rationale and the reasoning behind it is The Firm was originally put together kind of as a business decision, not a passion, and as a way for Paul Rodgers to kind of help Jimmy get out of that dark period. You know, Paul was very mindful of him, Jimmy, not becoming another Paul Kossoff, who was the guitarist in Free, who was an amazing Les Paul player until he got into heroin, and then holy shit, absolute garbage, unbelievable, night and day, and it ruined him, and unfortunately he passed. And I think, from what I'm read anyways, Paul, having toured with Jimmy in the United States for the Arms Tour, was down to do something because, well, let's not forget, Bad Company had broken up too. And Paul had released a solo album like Jimmy had with the Death Wish 2. Paul's was called Cut Loose, and it didn't do anything. It sank like a stone. So he had a financial reason to get together. In the early 80s, everybody was doing supergroups, as you know. Everybody was leaving their bands to form other bands. And I don't know. TLDR, this show in 1986 is fantastic, and this being the very last show of the tour, and as everybody knew on the stage, most likely the very last show of the band, of the unit, of the organization and business itself, The Firm. And it is very, very high energy. It is very, very happy, and the band gelled, at least to my ears, more on this tour. And Jimmy, more of his chops got back. He had a prior year-long tour under his belt. Another year off of heroin to help his mind clear. And boy, oh boy. Now, Jimmy was still being the rock star. Jimmy was still drinking. Jimmy was still indulging in the things that people indulged in the 80s. And Paul Rodgers was not. And I think there was some friction over that, because Paul's whole point is, hey, this whole idea was for you to get your shit together and get healthy again. And I can imagine Jimmy's response being like, I am healthy. I quit heroin. Everything's great. Shut the fuck up. I'm Jimmy Page. You're Paul Rodgers. We're on the road. This is supposed to be fun. And basically, disharmonious, incompatible personalities, I think, in the long run. And but this show and the 86 tour and the Mean Business album in general is much, much, much better. And in an interview that I just listened to today from Jimmy from 1986. He talked about how the first Firm album was recorded in order for them to have something to tour on against. So they recorded the album and then went on tour, and he said it would have been better had they toured and then recorded the album, because then the songs would have a little more life and breath. And you could tell. I mean, some of the Firm songs on that album are amazing. Satisfaction Guaranteed, unbelievably great song. That is an 8 out of 10 any day. Maybe even an 8.5 out of 10 any day. And with Jimmy's production in that song, all the creepy shit in the background, like in the evening, horrifying shit in the background to hear. Sounds, not like, people getting murdered. But there's other stuff like Make or Break, Gotta Make Up or Break Up, and Now That I'm a Man, I understand, woman needs a man. I mean, come on, that's low effort lyricism. I mean, not like Paul Rodgers is brilliant lyricist anyway, but that's just, I don't know, that's an example of the stuff that's like, let's just get this in the can, perform it well, which they did, and get out on the road, which is what they were looking forward to doing. It was so weird to see these guys and not have any Free songs, not have any Zeppelin songs, not have any Bad Company songs, just all these songs that nobody knew that were on the first album. All right, I'm going to stop bitching now. This is a fantastic show, and I'm bitching about the Firm in 1985 instead of celebrating the Firm in 1986. This show is unbelievably badass. Like I said, it's the very last one. Phil Carson, the longtime VP of Atlantic Records, and at this time, Jimmy's manager, and Roberts too, maybe, or the Firm's manager, comes out and jams at the end of the show on bass, as he has before. He's the guy that jammed on Money in Frankfurt in 1980 with Zeppelin, and High Heeled Sneakers in Osaka in 1971, and with Robert and Jimmy. This is fantastic. I'm going to read you the set list because you can go to heartofmarkness.com and get this. Oh, crap. I already closed it. All right. Well, then fuck it then. I thought I had it saved. Let's jump in. The very first thing I'm going to play for you is, oddly enough, the very last song of the set before the encores. But this is the show closer. Very high energy. Good song on the album, Spirit of Love, which was the album closer anyway. Jimmy's very funny in this show. He's very talkative, and he's making lots and lots of puns and silly, naughty jokes. Like when he comes out with Phil Carson, which you will not hear because you're not a patron. The patrons heard this like a month ago. But Jimmy comes out and he's like, from the annals of rock history, ha 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 ha. So he's doing that, and he does this with Spirit of Love too, in that he's discussing the song they just played and made a little joke about it. All right, Tear Down the Smalls. Enjoy. Well, no, Spirit of Love. Tear Down the Walls was before that, and he says Tear Down the Smalls. Spoiler, here you go.
That's a number from the second LP. It's called Tear Off Your Smalls or Tear Down the Walls. It's Tear Down the Walls, but it's much the same thing. Okay, now we've actually come to the last number of the official set. And actually, I've got to tell you now, this is the last number. The last actual date on our American tour. And it's nice to be playing it, so I think we'll be doing it. So anyway, thank you very much for all of us, yeah. It's a song of Paul's, it's called Spirit of Love.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Chris Slade, goddamn. Sorry, his drums are a little distorted. I don't know if that's what came through the PA or if that's just something from the recording. I can't tell. It was good. Paul Rodgers bringing it. And Jimmy, of course, cutting loose and wailing. That whole sustained little run he did where, Jesus, you heard it. So good. I am not a fan of 1980s B-Bender Jimmy because I just don't like the vocabulary he uses with the B-Bender. I don't like the sound of it. But that was incredible. I mean, I've always liked that song because it has a nice little solo on the album, too. That and he replicates that very well. And he cut loose while keeping the B-Bender in. Not bad. Love it, love it, love it. Very, very high energy. Paul fucking went for it, as one would on the last song of the last show of the last tour of the band. Unbelievable. Very fun, very loving, very good vibes, good energy. They pulled it off. It's wonderful. Now, for the next song. Oh, setlist. That's what I wanted to do. I looked it up. Haha, I'm good. While you were listening, I was working. This recording, which, as I said, you can go to heartofmarkness.com and get this recording for free. I got this for free. All this stuff is shared for free. Go to heartofmarkness.com. It should be at the top of the page if this is the latest podcast. If not, scroll until you find it or use the search function. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The set list is Introduction into Fortune Hunter, then Closer, then Crowd Disturbance, which is just some bullshit. Hey, now everybody settle down. Someone to Love, Prelude from Death Wish 2, Money Can't Buy, Satisfaction Guaranteed, Drum Solo, Radioactive, Live in Peace, another good song, All the King's Horses, same chord progression as Live in Peace, but played with synthesizers instead of piano. Tony Franklin's bass solo, Jimmy Page's bow solo, and noise solo, which is basically the 1977 noise solo again. But with the chase from Death Wish 2 folded in. And then the song Cadillac, Midnight Moonlight, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, which is amazing. I used to relentlessly roast these guys for choosing that song. It's like, you're Jimmy Page, Guitar God, Double Neck, Groupies, Satan, Heroin, all this stuff. And you're you never close your eyes. I mean, it's cool. I get it now. First of all, everybody got to pick a song they wanted to do in the band. And somebody, I don't know who it was, wanted to do You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling. Might have been Tony Franklin or Chris Slade. I can't remember. Might have been Paul. And they just went for it, which I loved. I mean, when Jimmy has a band, it's a band. Everybody's in it. Everybody's equal. It's very democratic and very cool. Everybody has a voice. There's a lot of respect. I like that about him. What else was I going to say? Yeah. Did I stop somewhere? I did. Bow solo. Cadillac, Midnight Moonlight. You Lost That Lovin' Feeling. That's what it was. Sorry. Tear Down the Walls into Spirit of Love, which you just heard. And then we have the encores, which is Money with Phil Carson. I Just Want to Make Love to You, and Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody needs somebody. All right, let us listen to the very last performance of Midnight Moonlight with this band. He did play it on the Outrider tour, so it's not the last performance ever. And I think he even played in a Coverdale Page tour. I don't remember. All right, this is fantastic. You have Jimmy really getting his chops back. The next step from here is the Outrider tour. So he's definitely on the ascension, and he's crossed the threshold so that he's kicking ass. This is a beautiful song. Enjoy it. Whoops. Now enjoy it.
Right, the next number is, no, hang on. I've got to sort of give myself a moment's grace because the guitar's out of tune and I might have a reputation for playing it, but I can't tune it. Anyway, that number's called Cadillac and it's from the last album that we did. And the next number is from the first LP, it's called Midnight Moonlight. It's the first number that Paul and I got together on, working on one together. See, it comes back. It's like a boomerang. And I guess without Midnight Moonlight, we probably wouldn't be here right now. But I hope you enjoy it anyway. And give us a second just to get it back into perspective, the guitar. Anyway, hope you enjoy this. Midnight Moonlight.
That was awesome. I hadn't heard like jamming in Midnight Moonlight before, but there were like 12, 16 bars where Jimmy and Tony were doing some different stuff. It was really good. High. Again, it's the last time they're playing this together and they know it, so everybody's doing extra over and above, and it shows. Magnificent. And when they dropped into take me from this wilderness, when they jump back into that was in a different point than I anticipated. I don't know if it was just for that show, but it's nice to hear that the song kept evolving. Very, very nice indeed. And you know what else is very, very nice indeed? Here it comes. My beloved patrons, the titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. A Laurel and Hardy handshake goes out to them. They keep the lights on here. Especially when I'm in a job searching period of my life, which I am now. Hopefully not for much longer. Certainly not for much longer. But it is nice to know that the necessities and the basics are covered regarding the podcast. All the hosting is covered from these people, the website hosting, the podcast hosting itself on SoundCloud, and the hosting of the cloud drive on Mega, where I keep all these shows that I share with you for free. Thanks to these guys. So being nicer to them, and I'm going to read out their names because I love them. Waiting for the page to load because I fucked up. All right. A Laurel and Hardy handshake goes out to Ryan, who I'm going to be having lunch with this week. Can't wait. John, Gary, Keith, Tilda, Steve, George, Ed, Kenny, Picard, Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, Other David, Supreme David, Bonzo Billy, who just spoke to me this week too. Lovely talking to you. And the hero of the hour, Mimo, he of the Copenhagen 8mm project. Bless your heart. Page 2. Ha ha ha. I was almost going to stop. All right. And thanks. And Laurel and Hardy handshake to Don, Marvin. You guys are new. Welcome aboard. Black Dragon. Do you walk around wearing like a gi all day? Keld, Mario C., Lance, and Rob from Melbourne, Australia. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Love you all. Truly grateful for you all and for your support. And I have a podcast for you guys coming up. Man, if I have the gumption, I may just crank it out tonight, although I won't. But I already know what it's going to be. Doo-dah, doo-dah. You will have to wait and see. Oh, doo-dah day. I think I have covered everything. Oh, you can find me where you found me because you found me. But I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram and YouTube as Heart of Markness, or close enough. And there is a Facebook group called Heart of Markness, podcast Facebook group with more than 300 people in it. Wonderful listeners. And aside from battling both a Robert Plant fan page and a Jimmy Page fan page that was just spamming my channel with pictures, which is that's kind of okay. It was a bit much, but that's okay. But the thing is, every post was like, "Thank you for listening to my music. Do you love me like I love you? I want to play music for you. Will you help me make music for you?" It's like, you're not Jimmy Page, asshole, or Robert Plant for that matter. So sorry, that's what was going on there. But it's a good Facebook group. Really good people there. If you have questions about shows, if you're just kind of getting into this bootleg thing and you're kind of like, what do I do? Jump in there. They're human beings and they're friendly and nice. Yeah, universally, nobody has been an asshole on that board in the 7 years that it's been going. Yay. Testament to the quality of listener that I have. Thank you. Last song I'm going to play for you is fantastic. It is the first encore. It's I Just Want to Make Love to You. And it gets pretty bluesy. Now, the Firm did this song a lot. They did that and Everybody Needs Somebody to Love all the way from the beginning. At least Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. That one I'm not playing because I Just Want to Make Love to You is dirtier and badder and darker. It's not only bluesier, but it has a darkness to it in the way... I mean, you've heard in this concert and on this album, the Mean Business album, Jimmy's using a lot of fancy chords, because he knows a lot of fancy chords, jazz chords, as they would say. And there's a lot of that thrown into this song, even though it's a straight blues song. Jimmy does some dark shit that sounds like Cadillac with the whammy bar and just you'll hear it. And it's really interesting. It's very, very good. And he cuts loose and just fucking wails here and there. And it sounds like good old Jimmy Page from Zeppelin now and again. So listen to it. It is great. And this is the first encore, the penultimate song that the firm ever performed live. Enjoy.
Well, You know that I just want to make love to Tony Franklin, Chris Slade, myself and Jimmy Page. God bless America. Thank you. See you.
It's still awkward in places. It doesn't flow like Zeppelin, but it does at times. The rhythm section is badass. It's almost, it's just Jimmy's using that different vocabulary and he's like insisting on it. Like when somebody, like your friend goes off as an exchange student to France and comes back a year later and has a French accent. It's like that kind of thing. I don't know. It was unbelievably badass. It's nice to hear Jimmy playing. I mean, top tier. The finger control, the deftness, and the dexterity is right there in the vibrato and things like that. Things that you don't really hear from Jimmy much in the early 80s. And you don't really hear, or I didn't really pay attention or note much of until the Outrider tour. And speaking of, I know I mentioned that it kind of sounded a little bit like Cadillac in there, and it did. It had some grim kind of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell vibe to it at times. But yes, it reminded me of Cadillac in a way, but it also reminded me of Prison Blues on Outrider. Some of the sounds, some of the voicings, it's nice to hear where that came from. So, are we done? Are we done? We're done. There we go. Nice. I hope you liked it. Go to heartofmarkness.com and get this show. The whole thing is great. The sound is fine. It's not amazing. The left channel has some mic crackling in it sometimes, some static. But it's overall perfectly listenable. I've had this for a while. I've had this for 7 months. And I've held off because the sound just didn't thrill me, which is why I did the Firm FM show about a month ago or so. But this is just so badass, and I play Zepp songs that sound worse than this. So I figure I'd go for it and share it with you, and I hope you liked it. Oh, and if you want to reach me for anything, requests, complaints, etc., love notes, ladies, Mark at heartofmarkness.com will get to me, and I will get to you. And this week, I am going to hook up with Eric, Led Zepp film, and we're going to talk about the Copenhagen saga and the whole process. And he's doing not just Led Zeppelin movies now. He's doing classic rock stuff. He has a whole separate channel, and he's completely badass. And I'll ask him when I can get my Feather in the Wind book back that I lent him like 5 years ago. I don't say that to be a dick. I say that to remind myself. And to be a dick. All right. Thank you very much. I love you all. Take care. Good night.